for me, he's got to start that first game of the season, because Garnacho might well win that place back, and it might be Rashford, Hoyle and Garnacho in a few weeks' time. But to repay what he's done in pre-season and the fact that Garnacho probably won't be fit, it's got to be Amad. And I think he's done an amazing job to put himself in that position where if he doesn't start, a lot of people will be going, how have you not started our best player in pre-season?
Jay here, Stretford, Paddock. This is Off the Bar, and I'm joined by two titans of the Manchester United fan base. I've got Mr. Stephen Howson.
Hiya.
The new roving reporter in the mix zone, doing his own thing.
That'll be exciting.
Hey?
Yeah, I want to talk about
ruffling a few feathers and chatting to a few of his mates. Also, we've got Mr. Josie Smith, what have you been up to? You've been chatting to journalists, haven't you?
Yeah, I spoke to Laurie Whitwell earlier. Check that if you haven't already. Just an update on where United are at with transfers. Latest on Scott McTominay's bid, where United are up to with midfielders. Just basically, if there's a transfer happening, we're talking about it on that show. So yeah, check that out. It's a really good interview.
Good stuff. Make sure you are getting involved in the comments, and don't forget to hit like, share and subscribe. Steve, I want to chat to you first, because we were talking after the Real Betis game. We were talking a lot about Harry Amass. You spoke to him, of course. He's one of the fringe players who's sort of come in and has progressed nicely in his games. I thought when I think it was at the Rosenborg game, me and you were chatting, Joe, and we were a little bit concerned. A couple of mistakes there. Do you know what I mean? Is it too soon for him? But each game, I see him improving and getting better and getting more settled. And you've been chatting to him, and he seems like he's got a proper level head as well.
Yeah, so I actually spoke to him after the Rosenborg game because I like him.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm trying to think of the exact phrase that I used, but I was like, wasn't it your best today, was you?
Which is good that you can say that to a young player and not feel, because I know you almost have a duty of care with young players, but you're confident that's not going to upset him or ruffle him, and he's all right with it.
Yeah, no, because he is a pretty sensible kid. But I said, yeah, look, I didn't think you was at your best today. And he said I was well tired.
Right, fair enough.
But then against Rangers, he was arguably one of the best players on the pitch. So, I made sure I was like, hey, that's who I know.
Yeah.
That's the Harry I know. And he said I felt strong. And then obviously we spoke to him just very briefly off camera on Saturday after the Arsenal game. He had another good game.
Yeah, definitely.
And it looks like he's sort of progressed his way into the conversation for being in the mix. Now, I'm not sitting here telling you he's going to start ahead of Luke Shaw, because I don't think that's the case. I don't even think he thinks that's the case.
No.
But I think he can start ahead of Malacia.
Yeah.
And I think if he's called upon to play minutes while we're unsure, like the Charity Shield, you would think he's going to start ahead of Luke Shaw. Yeah. Luke Shaw not yet being back in training, and that being next weekend. Do you know what I mean?
Does that worry you at all, Steve? Because Arsenal's a big club with great players as well, but City is a cut above. And it's the Community Shield, or the Charity Shield, as you rightly call it, is a game which has a little bit more substance to it than a Rivals in Red pre-season SoFi Stadium.
Only just.
Yeah, only just. But do you have any concerns there? Because you obviously got a lot more eyes on you during that game, and you're up against, I don't know who would be on there, right? Is it Doku maybe? No, he's on the left, isn't he? Whoever they put up out there, he's going to be a quality player either way. Do you have any sort of worries it might be a step too soon?
I don't. I'm of the belief that it's sink or swim time, so let's find out if you like. I wouldn't want to not play a youngster because we don't know that he's good enough. It's the Charity Shield. It's not the end of the world if you don't win that game.
Yeah.
Let's find out. I also remember some United teams getting absolutely tated in the Charity Shield and being fine. 99 springs to mind.
Arsenal 3-0 or something like that.
Yeah, absolutely battered. So it doesn't matter.
It's worth a go, though, isn't it? I think.
Yeah.
Like he's not. Luke Shaw's barely. He's not played. He's barely played for anyone since February. So
he's not even back in training yet.
No, I don't think he is.
Is it Monday they're back?
I think it is. Yeah. I wanted to ask you, Joe, what you make of Harry Amass and Marcus Rashford, because it looks like there's a little combo going on there that we've not seen. I know it's only pre-season before people start jumping in the comments, but Marcus has struggled last season with a lot of the players he's played alongside at left back or played behind him. There hasn't seemed to be that chemistry, that connection, especially going forward. It's just not happening for him. But we've seen little glimpses there where you think, actually, there's something going on with them two.
Yeah, I like it. And it's good having a left-footed attacking fullback next to Marcus Rashford. I know that feels like, isn't that the basic requirement? Like, and obviously you can have right-footed left-backs, and we've seen that a lot of Man United, obviously. But I just think, like...
Name two.
Dennis Irwin.
Name another.
Diallo played there last year. See you later. So... It can happen. But
I was thinking Maldini.
I knew he was going to say Maldini.
I was just thinking at United.
Well, he did well, to be fair. He stuck to United and he did it.
But I think that,
well done, Joe.
Especially for the way Rashford plays, because he likes to run with the ball, he needs people who are running off him, creating space for him, dragging fullbacks out of the way to create those gaps between centre-back and fullback. And I think last season at times it was too safe. Centre-backs, fullbacks wanting to tuck inside all the time or drop short because they didn't fancy themselves on an overlap. And it left Rashford with him looking at two men who, between them, could comfortably get the ball off him. You need people dragging people out and creating space, and Amass did that immediately. Got a bit of a bobble, bit lucky for the assist to Amad, but he's getting the ball and he's trying to go forward with it on his left foot on the touchline, and that makes loads of space inside. And we'll talk maybe a bit more about United's shape and formation, because I thought it was really exciting, and you were getting a little bit giddy about it as well, how it was the sort
Chopped up a bit,
a 3-2-5 almost formation, and we were helped, I think, by Betis playing such a high line, because it meant that massive gap we have in midfield was almost closed by the fact that they were so high. But I thought Amass in that position, looking aggressive, getting balls in behind, running in behind himself, and a lot of time he was tucking in as well. He was doing all sorts.
Yeah.
He's clearly intelligent to be able to do multiple sort of different roles so quickly. I'm really excited by him, and especially with the fact that last season, I think Serge Reguilon played as many games as Luke Shaw for Man United, and obviously Malacia didn't play a single minute. There's a definite chance he can get games there.
100%. Adam McCall has joined us.
Look at you.
Yes, good to see you, Mr.
Let's
McCall.
be having you.
Yes, here he is.
What do you got to say for yourself?
Good
Why
morning.
are you late?
Tired, innit? But he's in now. That's what matters. Let's talk about Harry Amass. Obviously, he's a very aggressive player, very on the front foot, likes to get stuck in. Do you have any concerns about that, or do you think we need a bit more of that in this team?
I think he needs to do a little bit of that. The first time I saw him was against Rangers, and I thought on the ball, was it Rangers where he played? I thought on the ball he looked really good, but in terms of the physical side of things, he may be lacking a little bit, and that's, stepping up to men's football. That's what you've got to worry about with him, really. But I don't think he looked out of place.
No.
And it wouldn't surprise me or concern me if he was close to the first 11 at the start of the season. Obviously, if Luke Shaw gets fit and gets into the team, Harry Amass could still be his backup for the whole season. Obviously, I think Mazraoui and Delo can play there as well, can't they?
Yeah.
So you might end up with two right-backs playing.
It's good as well because with Luke Shaw, regardless of what you think, he always seems to need that little bit of a kick up the backside or someone breathing down his neck, whether that's Brandon Williams, whether it's Alex
Jose
Telles.
Mourinho.
Yeah, Jose Mourinho or Sam Lester. He needs to have competition. If you've got Luke Shaw as your only left back, not only are you sort of gambling in terms of the fact that if he gets injured, you haven't got another one, but sometimes he just doesn't seem to be as...
It was my brain and his body.
Yeah, I was lovely that, wasn't it?
What a line.
Yeah.
You were going very Nelson Mandela.
It was a bit, wasn't it? I thought that. Luke Shaw,
I thought that's what he was doing.
it's Jose Mourinho.
I was a bit surprised that Nelson Mandela had said that, but, he's a man of all seasons.
As Jose.
Oh, right, okay.
It's
That's
the thought-
Nelson Mandela doing a Jose
Phrased it-
impression.
Did feel slightly epic, didn't it, when Jose said it? So it could be attributed to different firsts for different times. Luke Shaw, you're almost certainly guaranteed to lose a quarter of the season, aren't you? Let's be honest. If you just look at his track record, that I can't assume he's always
And the
done.
rest.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Over the last 5 years, he's missed 50% of the games.
Yeah. So
Consistent.
Yeah, he is.
you're almost guaranteed at least a quarter, because that's not always. Some seasons it's been terrible. Some seasons he's played 40 odd games. So whoever's second choice left back at Man United, that's a very active role.
Yeah.
It's not like being Onana's backup.
Yeah, it's not third choice goalkeeper.
No,
levels, is it?
exactly.
No.
Or even
Getting minutes.
Yeah, exactly. You're getting a lot of minutes. So it's not, if you're behind Bruno Fernandes on the pitch, then you might not be as confident. But if you're behind Luke Shaw, that's basically a first team slot at Man United as far as minutes is concerned. So if I'm Harry Amass, that's literally what I'm thinking. Malacia, what even is going on there? Genuinely, what is going on? I don't know.
Sad to see it.
It's really sad to see, and it's like if you don't start to see movement towards training back in the first team, then genuinely what is going on there? You're looking at has his career path changed here, kind of injury? Because
You're getting Owen Hargreaves vibes.
yeah, because it's been over a year. It was at the end of last season, wasn't it? So it's over a year now. 2 different injuries. He's not even back in training. We don't really know exactly what's going on. It's a horrible situation for everyone. But if you're Harry Amass, you're thinking, that's football, that's sport. I'm here, I'm next in line, and he's doing nothing wrong by putting in good performances against, Europa League teams in Real Betis. I think that was a great performance from him, and just politically within the squad, for me, he's backup left back now, isn't he? I'd play him ahead of putting another fullback from the other side there.
If you forget the age and just look at the performances, then you'd say
Do you think the manager does that though?
he can do that. Sorry.
Do you think if let's say we bring in Mazraoui, Luke Shaw is available start of the season, do you think he plays Harry Amass there?
It's possible, isn't it? Because
goes with Diallo out of position.
because he's played. The fact that he's played is a big one, and if you bring in Mazraoui and Diallo, that's two centre halves or two fullbacks, that haven't played alongside centre halves that haven't played as well, because it's going to be Martinez and who the hell knows at centre half. So, great start to the season is we've got a whole back four that's probably not played.
Yeah.
Just what you wanted. Another player that's having a good pre-season is Amad Diallo. Got a good goal against Real Betis, and he's just. I love everything about Amad Diallo, to be honest with you. Not just the goal against the Scousers and the fact he got sent off straight after it, which was mint. But every time I watch him, I like what I see, and I think that he's sort of forcing the issue. I spoke to Steve last night, and Steve was saying he could see him actually being straight into the first team, even if everyone's fit. Where do you stand on it, Matt? Do you think he is a first team player, or do you think Garnacho is probably ahead of him?
We were speaking about this yesterday, and I feel like, look, Jadon Sancho's there, innit?
Yeah.
And I think we were speaking to some people yesterday, and I thought Jadon Sancho looked really good. I don't think he's looked bad. I don't think he's looked great. I think he's looked somewhere in between. He's looked like a player on pre-season. And that's one of the things that I look at Amad Diallo, and I see him, and I see a man that wants to prove himself, fight for his spot, and he doesn't give a shit that it's first, pre-season.
No, I love that.
He's there to get that spot, that right wing spot, and he's trying to make it his own. And I don't see that same kind of urgency from any of the other lot out there on that position. I also think in terms of his form at the moment, I think he's ahead of all of them. He very rarely wastes the ball. Those small little touches to just get him out of danger
He's
sometimes.
absolutely quality.
He's really good,
That's
yeah.
right.
He
He's
is.
really good.
He's
Yeah.
very
And you
good.
think about that signing that we made. When we made that signing, it was really weird, wasn't it?
He played like 60 minutes of professional football, I think.
Yeah.
I think he might have played 7 matches, but I think they were all off the bench.
Oh, right. Yeah, because it was like, we looked at his stats, and I remember we had Romano on the channel, he was saying, look, United have gone early, but it's a good move because Juve were looking at him, and it's like, if United hadn't gone for him, then they'd have
It
come
was
in.
signing him and Palestri at the same time on it, and we was both scrambling, trying to figure out who even are they.
Was that a window when we didn't get Jadon Sancho?
It was the window where we got Cavani, Pellistri, Amad, and
Tell
Tell.
But we were chasing Sancho, right? And
Yeah, we didn't get him.
That was about a 2.5-year pro thing, wasn't it? So.
Yeah.
But you looked at the highlights of Palestri had low lights in them, and you're like, right, well, he's no good. And then the stuff that you could see of Amad, there wasn't a lot of it, but you're like, just out of the two, he looks the better one.
Yeah.
He's 4'3" and he scored a header against AC. Remember that?
That was ages ago. He's been here for quite a
That's a really
while
good
now.
goal.
Yeah, that was class.
Like,
Well, Sunderland loan was massive. He was
Yeah.
genuinely class at Sunderland. And he was operating not as a right winger, not really as a 10. He was kind of like a right half space rider. And if you're looking at how United are trying to
Right,
shape
your
up,
height space.
then I think he actually really suits that area of the pitch that he's going to operate in. Not on the wing, not in the middle, just sort of like in the little nook of the box a little bit. And I think he's absolutely deadly.
Just double entendre,
It
having
couldn't
it
be
with a
more
collar.
full of insinuations
Look
in
in the box.
this
Hey,
stage.
right, I'll drive.
Mind in the fucking gutter, a lot of you. I'm thinking
I'm sorry.
tactics.
When
I'm sorry.
Diallo is
Never
just
getting your
drilling the
look in the
box
box.
over and over and over again, when he's
Wiping
absolutely
his cock on a curtain.
Oh, you had to take it a bit
he's
further.
left
didn't you?
innuendo now.
Yeah, that's not an innuendo. That's
Full blown
just filth.
I mean, I wasn't even doing innuendo. I was talking about football. Perverts.
Accidental innuendo.
Joseph, what
Yeah.
do you think about Diallo?
I think he looks great. I think he
Amad
looks like what I
Diallo,
thought Sancho would look like.
play.
Yeah.
Like he gets the ball, he's really neat. He looks. His touches are all very small, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Like whenever he controls the ball, it's right there. Whenever he takes a touch, it's right
Similar
there.
to Sancho,
He's-
isn't it?
Yeah, like that's what I'm saying. He's like Sancho. Think of Rashford. I think of him as a knock it and go kind of player.
Yeah.
His touches are bigger. He's striding. He wants to get up to
He's
full
in between
speed.
the lines.
Yeah.
Sancho and him operating between the lines.
And Amad's this like cute sort of like tiny little operator who can do 1-2s, getting behind. But he looks like he's got, like Adam said, so much more drive and determination when he gets on the ball than we've ever seen out of Sancho. And I'm surprised and I'm happy and encouraged by the fact that, like I said, he's been here for a while now, Amad. He's not new. He could easily have got his head down and thought, my chance is probably never going to come here. I've been here, this is 4th season here now. Like, this probably isn't going to work. And yet, whenever you watch him play, it looks like he's just signed and he's trying to prove himself to the manager. And I really respect that, because if I was 4 years into a United career that included one failed loan, one good loan, barely any minutes last season, I might be thinking, I'm probably not going to make it here.
Yeah.
But he's clearly not thinking that. And it's showing by the fact that, for me, he's got to start that first game of the season, because Garnacho might well win that place back, and it might be Rashford, Højlund, Garnacho in a few weeks' time. But to repay what he's done in pre-season and the fact that Garnacho probably won't be fit, it's got to be Amad. And I think he's done an amazing job to put himself in that position where if he doesn't start, a lot of people will be going, how have you not started our best player in pre-season?
Do you know what we've got, which we haven't really had? Competition.
Yeah.
Last season it was, are you fit? Put a shirt on. Whereas this season you're going into it and you're saying, okay, you know,
Conversations in there.
Yeah,
Where's Xerxes fit into this? Where's
You
know,
can-
what's
you can
happening with
point to- you can
Garnacho?
tell
Sancho
Anthony.
going to get minutes.
you can show Anthony videos of Amad and be like, see that? See how he puts it under the bar? Like, you've got on the left, you've got Garnacho and you've got Rashford. You're going to go, lads, there's only one of you going to start, maybe.
Yeah.
Like, you've got competition to say, lads, I ain't going to pick the team. You lot are going to pick the team, and you're going to pick it through your performances, and that's a great place to be in.
Mark, who else has stood out for you on pre-season? Who you've been impressed with? Because I've had quite a few young players, fringe players who've got some minutes. Is there anyone that you've looked at and thought,
I like the
the
look
players
of-
you've mentioned?
Was his name Collier and
Toby Collier,
Yeah.
is it Oyedele?
Maxi Holiday.
Yeah, he's looked good, you know. Them two players have looked good. We've seen players do well on pre-season tours before and not really be seen again during the season, but it seems to be pushing Collier towards the first team, doesn't he?
He looks classy.
Get him.
He really does.
And he's a big lad as well, isn't he? Yeah. I think which you need to kind of be. Obviously, we've been talking about Ahmed, who's diminutive, but yeah, those two players look pretty good.
Summer is well and truly underway, and our friends at Manscaped have done it again. They have not just dared to dream, they have delivered. They have got the Performance Package Ultra 5.0. You thought 4.0 was the pinnacle, the zenith, the top. Well, you were wrong, because Manscaped, the leaders in below-the-waist grooming, have absolutely smashed it with the new Performance Package 5.0. What is in the Performance Package 5.0, though? Well, my friend Joe Smith here is going to tell you.
This is the Lawnmower 5.0, all right? Ultra, to be precise. And this, look at this. It's got multiple heads. This is the foil blades. Do you feel that? Feel how smooth that is?
That's been on his balls, by
That's
the
been
way.
on my balls.
Oh, can I have a go?
You smelt his balls.
This is the jewel in the crown of the performance package. But it's not just that. You also get the shed travel bag, which is what everything is coming inside of here. You also get
pause.
the boxer briefs as well. You also get, what else do you get? The crop soother, the ball aftershave lotion. So once you've gone over it with that,
He's got the right idea.
he's got the right idea. You also get the ear and nose hair trimmer as well. That couldn't have thrown me anymore if it tried. And of course, you get the crop preserver, anti-chafing ball deodorant. And I said before, you get the shed travel bag to put everything inside of as well. Honestly, we all literally use Manscaped all the time. Steve has dropped his trousers off camera. I cannot stress that enough. Manscaped is using the code Paddock.
No, you get
Pads is he wearing?
You get 20%
He's not wearing his
off.
Manscaped pads.
And he's going to put them on in a minute. You get 20% off and free shipping using the code Paddock. There's a link in the description. Go and click on it. Get the Performance Package 5.0 with all that good stuff that Joe's just described there. Your balls will thank you this summer, and Steve's balls are thanking him right now.
Yeah, I will say, they don't look great, but they smell fantastic.
As for the first teamers, I just think it's just Amad Diallo who's standing out to me, really. Rasmus Højlund's got a fantastic goal, looked good. Casemiro's looked a bit better,
I
hasn't
was
he?
just going to say, we should give a shout out to Casemiro.
Yeah, no, he has.
Because it has been an improvement. And I think it's only pre-season and the speed's slow and all that. But everyone was so down on him last season. It's worth pointing out that I think he has looked a little bit better.
Well,
I do think he has
Get
looked better.
bodies closer and around him. That's what you got to do. We just keep leaving him in no man's land. all the
He
time.
looks leaner as well.
He does. We saw that in open training. Everyone was commenting how he looks a bit leaner. He looks a bit sharper, and we've seen that in the pre-season games as well. Because I mean, look, I'm not saying it's going to happen just because he's had a couple of good games in pre-season, but if you could get a tune out of Casemiro, that's solved so many issues.
We was putting his name and Roy Keane's name after the first season together. Like, you know what I mean?
That's what I mean. Like, this, you know, when he's on it, he's one of the best in the world.
Players like that as well.
He's not been on it for a while.
We've kind of all written him off and thought, all right, the guy's going to Saudi, he's done. May still end up happening, but that's the kind of thing those players need to go, what do you say? All right, fuck off, watch this. And then all of a sudden just pull something out of the bag. I also feel he plays for the occasion. And I've noticed that in a Man United shirt. Whenever we really need him to step up in an occasion, he usually does it.
Yeah.
You look at Real Madrid for the Champions League. We've been out of the top 4 race from this get-go. I think like players like that eventually just go, this fucking
I get you,
season.
I get you,
This
Maka, but
season,
there's
and
no excuse.
subconsciously take a little bit off the gas.
I get that, but like when you're just walking out of the defence against Arsenal, like because it's not the Champions League final, I'm
Trying to get sent off
I'm
like it was in a
yeah, and I understand your point, but I'm like, as a fan, it's really deflating when you're watching that because that's just so basic. But you're right, he's looked leaner, he's looked better, and we'd love to see him. What have you made of Marcus, Joe? Because you're one of his biggest fans, I think that's fair to say. Obviously scored a penalty against Betis. What have you made of his performances so far? I know he's not a fringe player, but he's a player I think he's got something to prove this season because he didn't have a good one last season.
Yeah, he's in a weird situation where if he has a good year, it's 5 good years in 7.
Yeah.
And if he has a bad year, it's 3 bad years in his last 4.
Yeah.
Like this is like he has to be on it this season for his sort of career's sake at United. And I mean, you don't have to get 30 goals again, but you have to look excited to play. You have to look like you're trying to do stuff, and maybe 10, 15, 20 goals would be great if you can do that as well. But I think the thing that really upset me with Rashford last season wasn't even his performances, which is like just the feeling of Rashford.
Yeah.
Like none of the reports were good. It was he's gone out here, we've seen this. What's going on with Rashford? He doesn't seem happy. There's reports that he's not keen on this or that. It felt like we were just hearing bad things, and maybe some of that's because when things are down, people pile on and you only hear the bad stuff. So I'm not completely blaming him for all that, but I'd love to feel like Rashford is excited and giddy to play football and to play for Man United, and to see that on the pitch, not sort of throwing his arms around or walking around or not tracking back or whatever we've seen. He looks like that sort of energetic, sort of sprightly, bursting player that we see when he's so quick and so energetic and so sort of strong in terms of his will and his presence at Man United. He's one of the biggest names at the club. Yeah. I want to see him look like that again, rather than someone who looks like they shine away from everything. That's the thing I want to see, and I'm glad he got a goal yesterday. We were saying, weren't we, in the game, Jay, that even though it's a penalty and even though it's pre-season, for most players you go, well, that doesn't matter. Like, it's pre-season, whatever. I think Rashford is one of the few players where those little things do matter to him.
Yeah, I agree.
He does gain confidence from the smaller things.
Past when he scored, though, did he?
But maybe he's not going to celebrate like we've won the league.
I think there was
like Vegas.
Yeah, but I think within
We're celebrating like we would if we scored a goal at Old Trafford, the 4th in a 4-1 win in the second leg of a game we've already won.
Crying.
Yeah, doing a lap of honour after the game's already kicked off.
I'm here for it.
Yeah, I'm fair play to the kid. He's living his
I'm here
best
for it,
life.
but if it's your striker,
I said I'm here for it.
yeah, I
worrying that, isn't it? Striker's crying because he scored. Jesus Christ.
On his knees in tears.
crying.
Fuck you lot, I'm here for it.
Yeah, but with Rashford, I think he
why
needs
not?
confidence anyway. He can get it.
Yeah, I agree.
And even a pre-season game might help him out a little bit.
Do you know what? I'm not even like, if he is a bit edgy or moody or whatever, and he's scoring goals, I can live with that. It doesn't matter if he's going to be happy and clapping. And even at times when he was scoring loads of goals, he didn't always look the happiest. And people used to say this about Martial, when he was scoring, he didn't look happy. But if he's scoring goals and playing well, who cares? It's the fact that he's not playing well and he looks miserable that people are sort of jumping on it. I'm going to change slightly. The sort of latest news is that, was it Fulham have come back in with a bid for Scott McTominay?
A proper bid now as well.
It feels like this.
20 million.
Yeah, they're getting close to this. They might have even
30.
had a successful one by the time you watch this podcast. Maka,
Get your money in, come on.
yeah, you've been.
How's Smith Rowe 35 and you're lowballing
time.
the shit out of us?
Yeah,
I don't rate Scott McTominay particularly highly as a Man United player, but he's worth at least 35 million.
as a Premier League player,
Emil
isn't he?
Smith Rowe
Premier
didn't
League
play at all
experience.
last season.
International
about 10
experience. Emil Smith who?
But all right then. But I know you're not keen on him, but then that means Casemiro's probably staying, doesn't it?
Yeah, I mean, if you had the option, who would you rather stay?
Well,
You'd rather have no number 6 and still a Scott McTominay?
I'm not. But that's the question I'm asking you, isn't it? Does that Eriksen and Casemiro stay?
because
McTominay go?
Because we've got an overload of 8s, haven't we? Really.
Yeah.
I don't even know what McTominay is anymore because he
Got
basically
Mount.
plays a false 9 yesterday. His whole game last season was as a false 9. So what even is he anymore? And like we've just bought Xerxes to do that job, probably 5 levels better. So
And also, you look at it. You got Bruno Cobby, you can play for in the number 8 position. Mount as well.
Eriksen.
If he's still here, Eriksen feels like he's going to be one of those.
I think you can keep Eriksen and because he's like
set piece
armless
specialist.
and that in it.
Yeah, and then who have you got in the 6? Just
No one.
Casemiro,
Yeah,
really.
Casemiro at the minute, yeah.
So then if you can have two fighting for that position, because you don't really want Casemiro being wheeled out on Thursday nights, bro. Because his legs will. You want to see some madness. His legs
gonna
really
be,
will go.
That's going to be Power League closes in 2 minutes, and I need to fucking let that lad know.
Yeah.
You can't have him playing that, so we need someone else.
Yeah.
Yeah, listen, regardless of what whether you're a Scott McTominay fan or whatever, he scored a lot of goals last season from midfield. We saw in the FA Cup final, which I'm still not over. He put in a very good performance against Rodri. There's a player there, and me and you were chatting about, look at someone like Andreas Pereira. Was never good enough for Manchester United. Would never take you to that level you want to get to as a Manchester United fan.
Class for Fulham.
Yeah, he goes to Fulham, and smaller environment, less pressure, in a decent team, well-run club. He does okay. He does well.
He'll be elite there.
Yeah, so if that is going to happen, then I think that they've got to come in with a bigger bid. And United need to start fixing up when it comes to selling players, because we've still not really seen much, have we, from Ineos in terms of selling players. We're still waiting to see how they're going to handle that. I think with buying players, it's been okay so far. But with selling players, that is the big question, is that can they get decent money for players? Because like you guys have all said, Smith Rowe going for 35 million. Last season, City were playing kids that had never kicked a ball.
Yeah, 20 mils. For the same
James
money that you're
Rashford
trying to buy Scott McTominay for. No,
Yeah.
how about that? Right? And speaking of Twixes, how good are Twix ice creams?
Oh, mate.
Why aren't they in the UK?
I don't know. It's Brexit.
Bastards.
I think we're going to wrap it up there, Joseph, unless you've got anything else you want to share with me.
Just on McTominay, I do think he's been at Man United for 20 years. I do think he gets a lot of stick, but I think he puts a decent shift in. I don't mind him as a player.
Do you know what?
I think he gets a lot more stick than he deserves, to be honest.
You go with him.
After the FA Cup final, I'll be honest with you.
You fucking soft-suit for being a Fulham fan.
What, with
you are.
Out of all of
With the
us,
neutral end?
out of all of us sitting here, and someone went, "Where's the Fulham fan?"
The guy in Burke.
He was born
exactly
close to Fulham.
that. Exactly
What?
that.
You were born close to
I was born in Colchester, which is practically next to Fulham, I think. I don't know. I've not been since that was 2 weeks. Doing really well. They're pushing for the Europas. Yeah, I know, I'm with you on McTominay. After that FA Cup final, anyone in that FA Cup final, whether it's Amrabat, whether it's McTominay, I don't give a fuck. Give him a new deal. I'm being serious. I lost my head, and I still have, and I'm completely gone. So don't ask me for an opinion about anyone that played in that FA Cup final, because I think they're all fucking legends. Right, we're going to wrap it up there. That's been Adam McCullough. That's been Stephen Howson. That's been Joe Smith. I've been Jay Martin. This has been Off the Bar. Don't forget to hit like, share, and subscribe. And we're going to South Carolina for the next game.
Lose him now, don't we?
Yeah, I'm going to lose Stephen Howson.
No, see you later, Steve.
Sad times. Thanks for watching.